Hi, my name is AJ Howard of Unbound in Pursuit. Over the course of today and tomorrow, I'm going to do a little experimental how-to video of a method for whitening skulls of animals that people either harvested, they found, they acquired, etc. So traditionally, I've used the Salon Care Maximum Lift 40 volume clear. It's more of a liquid, and then the volume 50, which is a cream. You do about a 50-50 mixture until you get like just sort of a runny paste, and that's what I used for this bear skull. As you can tell, it's fairly white, pretty clean. Did a really good job. Made sure to brush it around all sides. Lift up. You know, you got the underside, you got the separate jaw. And then I've also used it a couple years ago, and this one is a lot more white. This is a cougar skull. And this one I did a little sanding on and cleaning. So it came out a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, and just pretty consistent all the way around. Recently though, I learned from someone that they actually use just Elmer's Glue, and they mix it with water as well till it gets a runny paste. You can use a brush like so, and I'm gonna actually do this experimental how-to video on black-tailed deer that I shot this year. So I'm gonna make the little paste, and then I'll rub it on the skull of this. It's boiled, it's been cleaned out, and we're going to see the difference on what the glue does compared to the salon stuff. So stay tuned. Alright, so I got just an old container, and I got some water, and I got the glue. So I think what I'm going to start with, I'm just going to pour a little glue in here. And glue's pretty cheap, so I'm not going to be too worried on if I lose any. The Salon Care Maximum stuff, I looked on Amazon, probably costs about $10 for two larger bottles like this together. $10. This you can pretty much buy at any Office Depot, Walmart. You don't even have to get a big bottle, you can just get a little one. So I'm just going to mix a little water at a time and mix it. And already what I can tell is that it's way too watery. I don't know if you can see how watery that is. So I'm going to add some more glue, because I guess you want it more, pasty-ish, so that it actually sticks to the skull. I'm just mixing it with the brush that I'm going to use. Alright, so as you can tell, that's a little more consistent white paste. Seems like it just a tiny more will give us a pretty good consistency. I'm just going to add a little more. Right, so that's a lot more of a paste, I would say. Pretty consistent white. Doesn't seem like it's watery or runny. It's a little runny, but I think that's also good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a piece of cardboard or an old chunk of plywood, set it down, and I'll paint it over the deer skull, leave it out overnight, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Alright, so we got the paste made, and we got the deer skull ready. Got a piece of little cardboard underneath, and we'll just kind of see how it goes on. So one thing you want to do is to make sure just to cover everything very consistently so that it all has the same kind of whiteness to it. And it looks like, just like when I used the salon care stuff, kind of gives the same transparency on the skull. So it's already kind of given me a little more ease about this. And I figured if it didn't work, I mean, it is just glue and it wouldn't be too hard to probably sand off somehow and be able to put something else on it. But if there's always just trying to find other ways to do something a little different, especially even though that stuff doesn't cost very much. Glue's pretty cheap and it goes a long way and lasts a long time. I've heard, and I guess I've recently found out that with that salon care, I've had it probably for 4 or 5 years, and it didn't work this year on a deer head that I did for someone. It kind of had like hairs growing out, which was kind of strange. I don't know if that's because it wasn't stored properly or what, but after talking to some people, I guess it only lasts so long to have its consistency. And I know glue lasts a very, very long time. Just want to make sure to get it in all the cracks. Get it completely covered. Good thing is, I'm sure this is something that if it works out, you just put another coat after this one dries if needed. But I'm not gonna put another coat on this until at least tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon when I check to see how well it is dried. Additionally, nice thing about the glue is it washes off you pretty well. You don't have to worry about wearing gloves or being really safe necessarily in regards to your body. With that salon stuff, however, I got that on my fingers a few times, and that turned out to be white hands. My skin started peeling. It was burning. It was pretty nasty and did not feel good at all. So if this is a different way that gives you desired results, possibly cheaper, lasts longer, and it's not harmful to your body, I am all for it, especially because glue has got multi-uses. I don't ever plan on dyeing my hair, highlighting it, or whatever that stuff's used for. So it'd be really sweet if something like this worked for whitening skulls. Alright, so as you can tell, got it fully covered. Oh, missed a little spot. Make sure to get all those little cracks. It also just dries even, which makes it a lot easier. So it's got it fully covered all around, and we're gonna see how it dries. We'll check it out tomorrow morning and see what he looks like. Hey guys, so it's the day after I decided to apply some Elmer's glue to the deer skull. Came back to look at it, and it definitely, it's not as white, and there's got some parts still to dry a little bit, but it's still I like it to look a little more natural anyways. I don't want it pure white. It could use probably a little more small picking at and maybe a little sanding if someone were to want it more white, but it definitely did make quite a difference from what it was until what it is now. So I would say that Elmer's Glue would be a definitely viable option. And I was thinking about it, that glue probably also makes all the little cracks that when it boils it loses some of the kind of the natural glue in between, so it probably actually makes it a little gives it a little more strength than it did if I were to use the cream. So I think all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call that good. It would be nice just to set somewhere as a decoration, put on the wall or whatever. Still a little more natural looking instead of just straight up white. So that was the experimental how-to video. If you got any other ideas or things that have worked for you, please leave a comment and on this video and let us know what you think. Thanks.